No politics in the pulpit, thank you very much, or you lose your tax-exempt status. That is not stopping some rogue Christian pastors. They dare sue the IRS. They are daring the IRS to sue them. That's what's going on. Give me the story, Judge. What's this about?
Well, you know, this is a coming confrontation, and I'm sorry to tell you, I think the pastors will lose. As unconstitutional as the statute is, it has been upheld, and the theory of the statute is, in return for your tax-exempt status, meaning you don't pay taxes on the real estate, people who contribute to you can deduct that contribution from their taxes. You give up your right to speak officially from the pulpit and advocate for candidates. You can advocate for causes and ideas, but not for candidates. I'll give you an example. When John Cardinal O'Connor, the late John Cardinal O'Connor, was the Archbishop of New York in 1984, and Ronald Reagan was running for re-election, against him was Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro, who represented herself from time to time as a parishioner at St. Patrick's Cathedral. John Cardinal O'Connor didn't say, vote for Ronald Reagan. If he had, the IRS could have challenged the tax-exempt status of the Archdiocese of New York. But he did say, no Catholic can be pro-abortion and still be Catholic, which sent his message out. He was advocating for ideas rather than a candidate. These particular pastors want to advocate for a candidate. Vote for Joe so-and-so. Vote for Susie so-and-so. And the IRS and the statute prohibit that. I do not support the statute, but the statute is clear, and I think judges will enforce it as it's written.
However, if it were to be enforced and the IRS says no politics from the pulpit, they would have to monitor the pulpit.
That's
they would have to monitor it.
That's the problem, because that kind of monitoring would violate the First Amendment. Having an official in the government, in the church, taking down what the pastor or minister or priest or imam or rabbi or reverend says would be a profound, what we call, entanglement between church and state.
But, look, I can understand this. I can understand that you lose your tax-exempt status the moment you advocate for a candidate. I mean, isn't that legit?
Well, why should that be so?
Because you're making politics tax-deductible, and it shouldn't be.
Well,
you want to support a candidate, pay up, go for your life.
Sometimes the mission of a religious entity is to put people with a sense of morality, similar morality, into the government. Should you have to use code words like Cardinal O'Connor did, rather than saying, don't vote for Mondale, vote for Reagan? He said, no Catholic can be pro-abortion, especially if she's running for national office. There was no question what was in his mind. Yet he said it so shrewdly and adroitly that the church's tax-exempt status could not be challenged.
I'm told, however, that the IRS is not going to enforce the statute. Is that correct?
Well, then why are we talking about this?
Because it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Our viewers love this.
The reason the IRS from time to time pulls back is this kind of entanglement would cause a revolution in the streets if a federal agent is in a church writing down everything that's said.
Well, you hope it would cause a revolution in the streets.
No, I hope the statute would go away and that priests and ministers have the same freedom as the rest of us.
Gotcha. Thank you, Judge. Moving on.